stop in the middle and help you. Okay. All right. So first we're going to talk about some formulas. I have some formulas here. So first formula that is very important in Excel is concatenate. And concatenate is where you're actually joining one or two items together to you're creating that combination between two columns. That is what we did in Power Query. In Power Query, it is called merge. In the Excel sheet, it is called concatenate. One second, let me clear this out. Okay, so first I'm going to use the concatenate formula. So for every formula, I'm going to give you an example. If you have questions, you can unmute and ask me questions, okay? First one is concatenate. So every formula starts with the equal sign. Okay, so every formula starts with an equal sign. So I'm going to do equal concatenate. Now, below this cell, you see there is a hint for you. You're going to use this hint as a reference to create the formula. So first one, like I said, concatenate is when you combine two or more cells. So in this, let's say I want to combine the prefix and the name. So they're saying which one will be your text one. So that will be my Mr. And which one will be your text 2. So that will be Nabil. And then I will close this and press enter. So that is the concatenate formula. So you're trying to connect the two. First, you need to put the first text and then you need to put the second text. Any questions? No questions? All right. Now the next formula that we have is VLOOKUP. Now VLOOKUP is, okay, who can tell me what is VLOOKUP? So according to you, what is VLOOKUP?
VLOOKUP is to match the item of, like for example, we have two Excel sheet and we need to get the item from the different Excel sheet to this Excel with having a common numbers or common name, for example.
Right? Exactly. So you are trying to look up. So for example, let's say I have a list of all students and all these, and I want to find ID of one of the student. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at all the, so, but I know the name of this student. So I'm going to use VLOOKUP, and using that name, I'm going to find the ID of that person. So this is usually helpful when we have different sheets, we have a long data set. That's when we're going to use it. That's when VLOOKUP is used. Now, make sure that whenever you find or whenever you use VLOOKUP, the reference that you're using, so for in my example, it's the name. It should be unique, meaning it should be a unique identifier. It should not be a it should not be something that is repeating, because when you do VLOOKUP, it will then take the first value for that name. So for example, let me show you in this Excel sheet. If I took VLOOKUP with my name, there are two names with my name, two informations. So VLOOKUP will only take the first one. When you're doing VLOOKUP, make sure it is a unique identifier, meaning it is ID number or it is the serial number, a number that you can see only once. It does not repeat. It's a very unique number. So let's say I want to find out uh, what name, what is the name of the person that has this ID. Okay, 143051. Okay, so I want to find out what is the name of this person that has this ID. So I'm going to do VLOOKUP. Look at the bracket. So lookup value. That means which value are you looking at? So the one that I'm looking at or I'm using is the ID number. So I'm going to put the ID number here. 143051. Then the table. Okay, actually, let's say I want to find the hiring date of this ID number. So this is my ID number. I need the hiring date. So I'm going to put the ID number. I'm going to select the table. So this is the table that I want. So make sure whenever you select the table, you don't select the whole thing. You select the table array where the ID starts from. So I selected that. Then I am going to calculate where the hiring date comes at. So the column index number where I want that date from. So I want that date from first, second, third column. So I'm going to put third. Now, after that third column, my next step is, do I want an approximate match or do I want an exact match? So since I want the exact match, I don't want any approximation. I will click on false 2 times and close this bracket. So first, if you look, first I took the ID number that I'm using to look at the values. Then I'm selecting the entire table where I want that value from or that hiring date from. Then I'm selecting where this hiring date is. So it's in column 3. Then I'm selecting if I want an approximate match or a exact match. So I chose exact match, which is false. I will press enter. Now there's a problem here. Excel, when you put that formula in, this is putting in general or number format, but the hiring date is in date format. So once I change that format to date, it will give me the hiring date. Any questions regarding VLOOKUP? Any questions?
Yes, I have a question.
Sure.
Is the order of the column that I am going to filter in important? For example, an ID is better to put in the third column or in the one column?
Since I am using ID as the unique identifier, it's better you start with the ID. So for example, if I'm giving you an example, okay? So let's say if I'm going to look up name and my ID. So if I'm looking up for the name and ID, I'm going to put first my name, okay? That's the lookup value. Then I'm going to choose the table. So I'm going to start with my name. And then let's say I want the ID number for my name. So the ID number would be, so this is the first column, this is the second column. So I will find this in the second column. Okay. Then I'm going to do false. And that will give me, see now this is in the date format. So I need to change it to general format. So that will give me the ID number. Clear?
Okay, thank you.
Sure. If you are still confused, you can ask me again.
Sana, I have a question. For
Sure.
example, if I want to look up ID, okay,
Yes.
and I want to get the name, so it's an opposite way from C to B. If I so will we look up work?
Uh, we can try. Let me
Yeah,
see.
Miss, actually we can bring this B column on front of the ID, then it will work. Because
Yes,
backward it
Yeah,
that's
won't work.
back.
yeah,
It
that's
won't
a
work. But let me
that's
still try. I've never tried that, but let me still try. Okay. So let's say the lookup value is uh 1430 or 51, and my table array is this. Let me try. I will just try because what I know from VLOOKUP is that it will always calculate the index number from the first one. So the first one
Yeah.
is when you're selecting the table, whatever the lookup value should be the first column. That's what I know. But I still want to try because let's see, it might work.
Yeah, it says it goes from left to right, but I was not sure. That's why I asked.
It won't work.
It won't work.
So because when you're selecting the lookup value that is from here, okay, your table should, if your lookup value is 143051, your table should start from here. That lookup value is your first column. So
Yeah.
here when you select this is your first column. That's why it's not recognizing. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
So we lookup clear? Okay, let's do the next one. So our next formula is length. So in length, what we're doing is we're trying to find how many characters are there in a particular cell. By characters, I mean how many letters, how many numbers are there. So let me take this and let me take this cell, okay? So I'm going to put length and then I'm going to select this cell and just press enter. It says there are 5 characters. It's not including. Okay, so
It's
this is a date. That's why that is happening. It's not recognizing it as the slash marks and another number. But for example, if I take a normal number, let's say I take this, it will take 6. Okay, one more. Let me take B6 and it will give me 5. So since this is a date format, that's why it is not recognizing all the characters. But if it's a normal character, now why do we need this? Let's say if we have a bank account number, okay? Let's say this is our bank account number, and usually bank account number should be like 12 digits. So if I want to check the length of this, so it says 12. Now let's say if I want to check, there are many that way, there are many numbers, and if I want to check if there was an error in the bank account information that we got, so I can use length as a indicator. So see, in this one there are no 12 digits, there are 19. So I know this bank account number is wrong. So I will email this customer and I will be like that the bank account number that you provided is wrong. Or the employee, we can ask the employee as well. It should be 12 digits, but it's 19 digits. So this is the wrong number that you have given us. So length could be used for this. Does this make sense? Any questions regarding length?
No, miss.
Okay, let's go to the next one then. Sum if. Now sum if is where, so it's similar to the sum function where you add everything, but in this you are having a condition, a criteria for addition. So an example for this one, let's say we have sum and I want to sum all this. Now serial number you will never add, but for in this case I am adding it. Okay, and I'm finding the sum. This is the normal addition. Now let's say I want to do sum if, but I'm going to do sum if I want to find the sum when it's less than 4. Or let's say I want to find the sum when it's less than, yeah, let me do this. Sum is less than 4. So sum if range, so I need this range. And then I need the criteria. So let's say my criteria is less than 4. Okay. And that will give me the sum 6. Is that clear?
no.
Yes.
Like, how did it? Is it calculated of the
So what is happening is that when you
3 to?
include this sum if, okay, less than 4 means that it will add everything less than 4,
Yeah.
which is 3, 2, 1. It does not include 4. It will include 4 when I put an equal sign here. So now it is including 4 as well in the calculation. Does that make sense?
So, Miss,
Yes.
Could you just
basically,
repeat that one more time if you don't mind?
Okay, so for example, I want to find the sum of numbers that are less than 5. So I want to find their sum. So what I will do is I will do sum if, and then I will select this range. Then I will give the criteria that it should be less than 5. Now in this, it will not include, so I forgot the quotation mark, sorry. Second, got the quotation marks. So it will include everything, all the addition which is less than 5. It will not include 5 in the calculation. So this is what you will get, less than 5. If you want to add all 5, then you have to put less than or equal to 5. That will give me 15. Again, I will repeat with another number. Sum if, let's say I want to add less than 3. Less than 3, sorry, less than 3, close this bracket, it will add 2 and 1, which is less than 3. Now, if I want to include 3 as well in the calculation, I will put equal sign. And that will give me 3, 2, and 1. Is that clear?
Miss, this is for summing the numerical values with a condition.
Yes.
Thank you. Miss, got it.
No
Why
problem,
did
no
we
problem.
need this, Miss, in practical world?
So in practical world, let's say if I have 15, 20, 30, 60, 25. Okay, you want to add all this up. Okay, you want to add all this up, but you want to, let's say you want to add something that is less than a particular value. So let's say these are all your sales amount. So you want to add everything that is above, let's say 15. Okay, let's take this range. Okay, and let's put greater than 50. So it will tell you if, so let's say sales of 15 is the lowest amount. You need the amount, the sales amount where you're getting more than 15. So let's say 15 is your cost. Okay, you want to see how much extra you're getting more than cost. So you're adding all those values where the sales are more than 15, and then you will know, okay, I am getting more from 15, I'm getting 135 as extra amount. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So I can explain you another mechanism. Let's say, okay, let me think of something else. Or let's say we talk about commission. Okay, you want to see how much did you get or how much commission you have to pay if it's more than 100. So if it's more than 100, you will pay about 1400. So more than $100, how much more commission you have to pay? So that's 1400. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
right. Now if you look at second, if you look at the values in the formula, if you see there, you will see that there was another letter here where you put the formula and there is something called sum range. So after range, there is criteria, then there is sum range. This sum range is actually where you are, it's optional, and it's where you add actual cells, and then there are other ranges that you want to add as well. So you want to add two ranges together. So you want to add this and you want to add another range. So it's an optional field if you want to use, if you want to add two ranges together, then you can use this. Okay, I
Sana,
hope
I
that's
have a
clear.
question.
Yes,
It's important to put finally false or not?
in this,
Yes.
no,
No,
in this there is
no,
no form.
no, in yes,
In this VLOOKUP one, yes, you have to.
We have to use only in VLOOKUP.
only in VLOOKUP.
Yes, only in VLOOKUP false and true comes.
Okay.
Okay, in VLOOKUP it is important. All right, let's go
Miss,
to
I
the,
couldn't get you the point that you have said about the extending the range for sum if. Could you please
okay,
repeat?
so sum
One example.
if range, I will give you an example. So let's say sum range, if you want to add and there is another column, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, you want to add these two columns, you're going to select the other column as well. Okay, 1 second. Why does it? Okay, so let's say if I do this, and let's say I want to select this as well. Okay, so if I want to select two ranges together, I will do two ranges together. So for example, this, man, I need a specific example for this. That's the problem.
Can the ranges be far apart or
It can be far apart.
okay?
You can put two ranges. So usually the form, like for example, if sometimes you want to add, I don't have the data set for it, it's not possible in every data set. So let's say if you want, sometimes the formula could be, I'm giving you an example now, so let me remove the equal sign. So it could be sum if, and then you might have a, a range here, A7, okay, and then you might put here add all the vegetables, let's say, okay, and then you have another range which is C2/C7. So what it will do is it will add all the vegetables, so all the values that have vegetables, and it will look in the amount part for the vegetables. Does that make sense?
Both
Yeah,
range.
So is
S-
it clear?
yeah, Sana, can we try this? For example,
Sure.
we have, uh, is that audible? Am I audible?
Yeah, I'm listening to you.
Yeah, I'm saying for an example, for first range, if we have 1 to 5 numbers in the H column, if we put from 6 to 10, and then we put a criteria, all the numbers which are less than 7 should be added from both the ranges. Will that work?
Uh, no, it won't work that way. I will show you. I'm creating a data set. Give me 2 minutes.
Sure.
When you're considering two different columns, does the criteria has to go in the middle in the formula always?
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
So let's say this is my data set. Okay, and let me say I want sum if. So I want the value to come from here and the text should be from here. Now in this, since I am doing a numerical in that one range, So I can do it directly here. In this, what I want to do is it's something like VLOOKUP, where I have to only take vegetables and add the vegetables from this column. So I'm getting the amount by looking at this column and this column. So for example, I would select this. Then I will do vegetables. Then I will take this. And then it will tell me how much is the vegetable sum. That's when the sum range is used. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, that's when the
Yes.
sum range is used. When you're directly adding the values with less than and greater than criteria, that's when you will use what do we call the direct formula. You don't need the sum range. But if you're looking at text or something like that, that's when you would need sum range. Okay. I hope it's clear.
Okay, miss.
Okay. Now let's go to the next one. Next is days or network days. Yes.
I wish you repeat that complicated formula for the fruits.
Fruits. Okay. So sum if I will select this range. Okay. Then I will do fruits. Okay. Then I will select this. And it will tell me it's 2000.
Okay.
Okay, so that's
Yes.
sum if. Now I will show you network and what do we call days and network. So this is used usually when you want to find the number of working days, or you want to find days between two intervals. That's why you use it. So for example, I want to find how many days are between these two dates. So I will do days. I will put the end date, and then I will put the start date and press enter. So 70 days are in between. Now let's say out of this, I am saying out of this range, I am saying that 9, 8 or 9, 10. No, wait. 10, 11, 1996 is a holiday. So this is a holiday. Second, 1 second. So let's say I want to put this as a holiday. So I'm going to do network days, and I will put the start and end date. And then I want to show that this is the holiday that this particular employee has got or is going to get. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to include the holiday here, which is L2. Okay, and I will get the, so it will remove the weekends and it will also remove the holiday in that, so the date in that. So it will remove the holiday and the weekends, and that is how we're getting 49. So the work days are 49. Is this formula clear?
No, it's not clear. You may repeat.
Miss,
Ma'am,
sorry,
could you
miss,
please explain it again?
and
Okay.
also, Miss Sana, just a quick question. Is there any better way
Yes.
that to use this formula rather than manually putting it, like, it's just going up here in the formula section app and then selecting the direct columns? Like when we
What
put
do
this,
you mean?
like when we manually put all these formulas, it can be confusing. Rather, going to the formula section directly here and then selecting that
Yeah,
particular ranges, and that way
yeah,
maybe
you
it
can
might be
do
easy.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do that. So you can go to formulas and then you can look for the formula that you want to do. So for example, I'm doing days, network days. So I will go to date and time, look for network days. In this, my start date. So it's the same thing that is coming in the hint below.
Yeah, right.
No difference. Okay, so start date would be then let's say this. Okay, and my end date would be this. And so see, now I did not put the holidays, so it's 50. If I want to put the holidays, I will go back to the formula. I will go back to the formula and I will select the holiday. And that's my holidays, and I will click OK, and that's my holiday.
Right.
So that's how you will go to the window pane. It's the same thing that is coming in the hints below, just that you're going to that you will get a dialog box there. So you
Yeah,
can
right.
do both ways, that's fine. Whatever feels easy for you. Okay, next after is network
Sana?
days clear now?
Sana, I have a question. If it's possible to put 2 day on holidays for this formula, or
Yeah, so
2 or
you would
3
have
or
to will have to put the dates. So let's say I will put 10 15 1996. So let's say now I go back to the formula here. Okay, now instead of L2, which is just one date, I will take all these 3 dates. If it's in that same date range, or if it's between this range, okay, it will take those 3 days as well.
thank you. Any other questions?
Uh, yes, I have. For example,
Yes.
it's just giving the number. For example, without taking the holiday, it was showing 50. And when we considered the holiday number, then it showed 49, right? So it depends on
Yeah.
the data which we are providing, which is, I would say, self-explanatory. So in what other situation it is helpful? Probably it's a small data, so we can easily calculate and we can think it's not that useful.
This is
But what?
usually this is used for making understanding the vacation days or working days of an employee. So you take all the holidays that are there for like BC or in year 2022, you include that in, you make a chart or a column just for holidays, and then you include that with that particular year month's dates. And if that date is there in that particular month, then it will consider that okay, these are the days that the employee has worked, the payment should be made for these many days. So sick
Okay,
days, leave days, it's used for that.
okay, got it.
Okay, all right, any other questions? Now next we have substitute, and then we have min if and max if. So
Ma'am, I have a
substitute is,
question.
yes.
Ma'am, how does the networking days dialog box occur?
You will go to date and time. So you will go to
Yes.
the formulas tab, then date and time, and then you will go to network
Network.
days, and then it will give you this dialog box.
Thank
Okay,
you.
now no problem. Now we're looking at substitute. So substitute would be, I would have to see where substitute
Or
is.
Mr. Sorry, maybe we can directly write there. You know, you can see the J3 just equal to sub. It will come there, I guess. On the left
Yeah,
side of
it
the
will.
corner in front. Yeah, here.
Yeah, that's what
No,
I'm
no,
going
no, no,
to
no, no,
do.
not here, Miss Anna. Sorry to interrupt. You know, in above A, you see A there, column A, B, C, D. On top of A, there is F8.
Yeah.
If you put equal to there, no,
Yeah, it's the
equal to,
same thing.
yeah.
It's the same thing. If
And
I
if you
put
can go down,
equal to
yeah.
sub here, yeah, it will, even if I put in the cell, it's the same thing. But I'm looking for the dialog box. So the dialog box is in text. Sorry, it's in, I think, nope. I just saw it. I lost it now. somewhere here in the, somewhere here. I lost it.
Ma'am, it was right there in the previous,
It's in the text.
yeah,
It
Yeah.
was in the text.
yes.
Substitutes is there.
Am I blind or what? Okay, here, sorry. Okay, so it's in the text box. Let me click that. Now, in this, what you're going to use is you are going to substitute one particular letter or word with other words or other letters or other characters. So let's say if I want to change this miss to Mr. So how will I change that? But the problem with this is I've used substitute, I've used replace, but the problem is that it will not come in the same location. It will come in the location where you put the formula. Okay, so it will be in the location where you put the formula. It will not come here. That replacement or substitution will not happen here. So let's say I want to change this text, or I want to substitute this, and I want to change that ISS to R. So I'm going to do ISS. Okay, ISS, and I'm going to change this to R. Okay, no need for instance number, but this is what you need for now. And when I click this, that miss will change to Mr. So for example, sometimes when you want to mark it as female and male, so you want this to be female, and then you want this to, let's say you want this to be male, and then the next one you want it to be female. So you're going to use substitute or replace for the next column to be female. So it's very rarely used, but it's good to know. Okay, so is substitute clear? You can use, instead of substitute, you can use replace as well. Replace does the same thing, but it's a more complicated formula than substitute. So for example, I can show you replace as well. Replace. So let's say the old text is this, and then let's say I want to change from the second number, and let's say the number of characters that I want to change is 3. Okay, and then the new text would be R. Okay, so it's doing the same thing. So start number, that means where I want to start the change. So I want to start it at the second number. Then how many characters do I want to change? So I want to change 3 characters, which is ISS. And then what do you want to change it to? That's R. So it will give me the same thing. Okay. Any questions? Okay, now we have minimum if and maximum if. Now these two are the most complicated ones, which creates a lot of problems in understanding. So let's start with that. So this formula is a bit different. There are 2 formulas in one. So you have minimum formula and if formula, both. Now in this formula, you are applying a test where you're saying that, let's say my column should be less than 5, and if it's less than 5, what is the minimum value from my ID? So let's say from this column, I want less than 5. Okay, and if the value is true, it should be from this column, and that's it. No need for value if false. There should be 2 brackets. I forgot one bracket here. You can see the black one is missing. That's why this error is coming. So this shows that if my number is less than 5, the minimum value of the ID is 14, 30, 49. Okay, so that's minimum if. Do you understand this? Is minimum if clear? So I will show it to you with the logical test as well. But the problem is that it will show two boxes. 1 second, let me remove this and let me show you. So if I want to put the formula here and then I need the dialog box, you can click on this FX and the dialog box will pop. Now, logical test. What is the logical test? You want this. You want the serial number to be less than 5. And then you want the minimum number from this range. Okay. So value if true, that means you will get a minimum number from this range. Okay. And then you click OK. Again, I forgot the bracket. So that will give you the minimum value. Let me give you another scenario. Minimum if. Okay, let me get the dialog box here. My logical test would be, let's say, less than 3. Okay. And value if true, I need from this range. Okay. And then I click OK. So if you look at 3, if it's less than 3, it's these two. The minimum value should be 51. If it's not 51, that means you have an error. So it is 51, so the formula is correct. Does this make sense?
Means third one is not inclusive.
No, third one is not inclusive. So if I put 3 is equal to, less than is equal to 3, that's when you will have 3 inclusive. So that equal sign has to be there.
Okay, perfect.
Any questions regarding mean if?
Yeah, why don't you use the mean ifs formula? Like there's an actual formula.
To be honest, what I remember in the new version, there is no mean if.
Like if you type on a new cell like equal mean ifs, there it is.
No, but this is a different type of formula. It is not the same. 1 second. It includes many min ifs, not just one if, many min ifs.
But you can put 1 if you want to.
Yeah, you can. You can do that, but in every Excel format, min if is not there.
Okay.
So in 2010, 2013, 2016, it's not there. It's min and if. Yes.
For the first mean if, we'll get a specific minimum value. From a lot of values, we'll get one minimum specific value, right? For the first one, mean
yes.
Bracket if. Okay,
yes.
just
if
one
you
value.
Want, yes, you can add more ranges to this. So if you want, you can add more ranges. You can keep adding more ranges, more criterias in this minimum if. If you want one single, then you have to go for min and if separately. This is many ranges. You can try this. If you want to put a lot of ranges, then you can go for this. Okay, so in this you have two ifs. So you're applying two conditions. I don't know if that works with one if or not. I've never tried that, but I know that it works with two ifs. Okay. Now the next one is max if. So max. So even in this, it has many ifs, but I will do one if.
I'm sorry.
And then I will.
One question.
Yes, go ahead.
For the first mean if, like say for example, Mr. Karim has a lot of value, like for his salaries for last 10 years. So we want to know the minimum salary of him for last 10 years. So Can we do that with the minimum if, or we have to use the minimum ifs?
If there are two criterias, meaning you want to see if the minimum value, if it's less than 10 years and it's less than, let's say, $50,000. So these are two criteria. So you will have two criteria. You will have one with less than 10 years and you will have one with less than 10,000. So I can give you an example for it. So when you go to logical and when you go to minimum if, where is it? Sorry. We include here min ifs, and let's say I want the dialog box. Let's say I'm just giving you a hypothetical situation. Let's say this is my range, okay? And then my criteria range, I will choose the range that is there. Let's say that is the next set. And this is the year. So let's say I would say greater than 10 years. And then my third range, I will choose the third range, okay? And then this criteria would be greater than, let's say 50,000. So in the last 10 years or in the next 10 years or after 10 years, who is getting more than 50,000, and that will give you the value. So you will do two ranges then, and two criterias are there. So it should be greater than 10 years and it should be greater than 50,000. Which one will be minimum? Something like that.
So that means if we use more than one range, we have to use the min ifs.
Yeah, more than one range, more than one criteria. That means in this situation, we have two criteria, one this and one this. So in this situation, you're going to use min ifs.
Okay, miss.
Okay.
I'm actually trying to do it, with you. So I was doing the same thing. I did min, and then I like started the bracket. Then I typed
Yeah.
in ifs,
Yeah.
and then I select the range of cells. Correct?
No, then you put another bracket.
Yeah. Then I start the range of cells. And then I
Yes.
put the criteria of less than 5 or less than 4, correct?
Now it depends. If you, let's say you chose this range,
Okay.
and then you put a comma sign, and then you put the range, it will not work. The
Correct. Yeah.
criteria should come with the range.
With
Okay.
it. So I put less than 3, and then I put a
Yeah.
comma. What
Okay.
comes after that?
That then comes your value, where you want to get the value from. So this
So
3,
okay.
we do this, it's 3, and then I'm going to select the value that I want.
Okay. So the
And then,
again it's another set of it's another range.
yes.
And then it's 2 brackets, but when I press enter, it's just saying hashtag value.
Yeah, so that means you have some error in your formula.
Okay. All right.
Or there might not be a number there. So look carefully what you're selecting.
Okay.
Okay. Next, so let's talk about MaxIf. Now in MaxIf, you have a logical test. Let's say I want this greater than 1. Okay. And then I want it to be here. So same logic as min if, just that it will look for the maximum value. It will not look for the minimum value, it will look for the maximum. So if this is the maximum value, I can do the same for minimum. Okay, same formula, but for the minimum. So my logical test would be this. I'm going to put the same thing, greater than 1. Sorry, that it became exclamation point. I'm going to select this range and I'm going to select OK. So that will give me, see, this is giving me the minimum value of this, and this is giving me the maximum value of the rest 4. Now, if I want to change this, and let's say I want to make this as 0, and let's say I want to make this as greater than 0. So here, this is the maximum value, this is the minimum value. Is this clear? Any questions? Any questions about
So-
min if and max if?
So means for max if there is no max ifs like the plural one.
No, there is. There is. But that is for more if you're putting two criterias together. So let's say I can give you one from this particular example. Let me try. So let's say my maximum range is this. Okay. Now my criteria range uh, would be, man, I think there will be an error, but let me try. Greater than 1. Okay, my second range would be this. Maybe no, let me make this as this, and let me put this as summer. So it says there are 4. There is an error in this for sure. But since there are no, I should have put something else over here. That's why it's not going to work. But you understand there should be a range here and then it should be greater than 1. So my criteria is that this column should be greater than 1. Okay. And it should be just Sana. So it should actually give me the output cell should have been something else, but I cannot include that because there is no number or amount or something like that. So it would have only included values for Sana and it would have told me which is the maximum value for Sana. So that is what you can do with max ifs. Clear?
Okay, miss.
Okay. That's done. Then we have count ifs. So this one is also the same thing. Let's say for this data, I want to count how many numbers are or how many sales are more than 800. Okay, so I'm going to do count if. See, even count ifs are also there. So count if, let me say range, and the criteria is it should be more than 800. So it will tell me how many are more than 800. So if you want to see how much sales, so let's say if your break even point or the point where you got zero profit is 100,000 and you want to see how much profit or how many items do you have that has more than 100,000 profit. So then you're going to do this count if. So let me do this count if, and then you're going to select the range. Let's say this is the range. Okay, so let's say this is the range, and then beside it you will put more than 100,000. So it will tell you how many values or how many items you're getting a profit in, which is more than 100,000. So it counts how many values are there. Does count if make sense?
So it doesn't sum up, it just count the number.
Yes, yes. I had to put commas here, so that was the mistake, but it will still come as an error because I don't have anything here. Okay, so that's done. That's count if. Then we have left and right. So left and right is super simple. You need to get like, let's say if this is your name, this is my name, Sana. I want the first 2 left characters and 2 right characters. So I'm going to do left. Then I'm going to take the text. This is my text. Let me show you with this. So this is my text. And how many characters do you need? So number of characters. So how many characters you need to extract? So you need 2 characters to extract. So once you click OK, SA will come there. Now, let's say right. Okay, you want the rightmost characters. So you're going to select the text, and then in the next column you're going to put 2, and then you're going to click OK, and that will give you the 2 last most characters. Now why do we use this? Let's say if I have an item code, okay, this is my item code. Actually, let's make it 100. And then here it's written iPhone 14 Pro Max. Now you want to separate these or this into 2. This is your item code or inventory code, and this is your product. So you want to separate this. So you will do left, then you will take this, and then you will put 6 characters, and that will separate the item code. So it's similar to the split column that we're doing in Power Query. I hope it's clear. So these were our formulas. You can practice
Excuse me,
them.
ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, could you just repeat the left-right one again, please?
Okay. So let's say I want, so there are, see, you can see there are 2 things, 2 information in this cell. One information is the item code, and the next information is the product itself. So I have to separate these 2, item code and the product. So what I will do is, the easier way to do is take the leftmost values. So I will do equal left, then the formula says what text are you getting the left items from. So this is the text that I'm getting from. So I will select the cell. Then I'm going to say number of characters. So how many characters you need from the left side? So I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I need 6. So it will tell you what the answer is here down in that box. So you know that this is what you need to get. Now let's say if I want the rightmost characters. Okay, and I want from this. How many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have to also count the spaces. So that's why it's 17. So you can see the spaces have also been calculated. The spaces are characters as well. So that is my product. So I've separated the 2 into 2 columns.
Thank you, ma'am.
No problem.
Question.
Yes.
What if you want like the middle number, like or the middle text, which is iPhone 14,
I
and
will
I
tell
don't
you.
want Pro Max or WV?
You want iPhone.
Yeah, say I want iPhone 14 only, and I don't want Pro Max or WVB 100.
That will need 2 formulas. I can show you. So you splitted this, right? So you split this from the right and you split this from the left, right? Now you can do this left, and then you can take the 5 first characters. So you can take this and 5 first characters. Oh, sorry, 6. I will give you iPhone. I think there is a middle formula as well.
I think we can use mid or middle.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's a middle formula as well. So text and start number, and then start number would be, okay, let me take the other cell, S1. The start number would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then you need how many characters? So I need 6 characters. So that's my formula. Okay.
So where is 8? Where did you get 8 from? Because that WVB 6 characters.
No, 8, if you look at the formula, it says start number, meaning where do you want to start the extraction? So I want to start it at the 8th character. That's why I put 8.
Okay. And then the number of characters represents the letters of the word
How
iPhone.
many? Yes, how many characters you want to remove?
Okay.
So
Suppose you want to include 14 Pro.
Sorry? 14
Suppose you
Pro?
want to include up to iPhone 14 Pro only.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So that's 14. After 14 characters, I think probably it will start with 15. Sorry. Yeah, you can see that 14 Pro. I will do OK and it will come as 14 Pro.
Okay, good. Thank you.
So
No
means
problem.
to use the right, left, or middle formula, the value or the data should be the same category data, right?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
We cannot
So if you want to
implement on.
copy paste it, then
Yes.
it should be the same category.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Now this was your formulas. It was just a brush up. What is important is the next part. So you asked me so many questions for this part, which is like a brush up. I don't know what is going to happen for the next part. So the next part is where we're going to have pivot tables. We're going to repeat power queries, and we're going to make some dashboard. Please, for now, listen rather than doing it, because if you're doing it during the online session, you won't understand, because there'll be a lot of back and forth, because you're looking at my screen, then you're looking at your screen. So we're not in a classroom. So listen and then you can practice later at home. Okay. All right. So what I'm planning is from the next class onwards, and I will talk about this when we meet in the next class as well. I will upload the recordings before you come to class, and in the class we will only have question and answer session. I will only clear doubts. So before the online session, one day before, you will have the recording, and that recording is what you will look at for the online session. And if you have any questions, then you will come on Thursday and you will ask questions. This is the problem that I faced, this is what I faced, or any extra questions you have. So we'll talk about this again on Tuesday. Okay, I think that will be better. All right. Let's start with the pivot tables. So now the data that I'm going to show you is a larger data as compared to small data. Okay. Okay, so it's a larger data. So we have to first transform this data like we did in the previous one. But since it's a large data, you need to look at which column is important, which column is not important. Okay. So I am going to start a new document, and we can start doing that. So I will go to the data tab, and I will get this data, but this data will come from, again, won't come from a folder, but this time it will come as a CSV file. So it will come as a CSV file. So you will go to get data, then from file, and then I will show you again. So get data from file, from text or CSV, and then you will select that file. So same logic as we have done before. We're going to not load the data. You're not loading the data. You're transforming the data. So you cannot click on load. You need to transform. And this is where Mac gets stuck. They do not have the transform button or the edit button. So that is where Mac people will face problem. That's why you need Windows for it. So you will click on transform data, and you will delete all the columns that are not necessary. So for example, order number, I don't want, I will remove it. Order line number, I will remove it. Status, I will remove. Quarter ID, month ID, year ID, I will remove all these three. So how did I select all these three? I clicked on this, pressed Control, selected month ID, pressed year ID, right click and remove columns. MSRP, I don't want, right click, remove. Then product code also I don't want, remove this as well. So next is phone address 1, address line 2. I'm going to remove all this. I don't think this is important. So I'm going to remove columns. City, I will keep it. State and postal code, I don't want. So state and postal code, I will remove. Territory, not important, I will remove. Now, next deal size, I don't want this as well. Now we have last name and first name. So last name, now what, let me look at the data first. When you look at the data, you'll see there is sales. So this sales, I can change it to cost and profit. Okay, other than that, I can split these two for the year. And I can combine these two to one column. So first I will combine these two, I will merge it. So what I will do is I will take this column, click on it and drag it to here. Bring it forward so I can merge it. Now I need to merge these two, same like last class. I'm going to select this column and then press Control, select this column. I'm going to right click it. Okay, sorry about that. Click here, press Control, click here, click right click on the tab and click merge columns.
Oh.
Now question to you, how will we join these two columns? Do you need a dot? Do you need a comma? What do you need in the middle?
Now we need a custom dot.
Yes. Space. We need a space.
We need a space, exactly. We need a space and then we're going to put full name as the column.
All right.
Okay, so that is merged and it becomes full name.
This is interesting.
Now I will go and I will separate these two. Okay, so I will separate the date and I will separate the time. If you look at the time is useless. We don't need the time. So separate the two, then delete the time column. So I'm going to right click over here and go to, okay, there is no split over here. So I will go here on this home tab. Also, there is a split and I want to make this split by delimiter. Now, where will you make the split? You will make the split on the space. So this should be a space. Now look very carefully. There are two spaces. One is here and one is here. So you are going to split at the leftmost delimiter. This leftmost. So you're going to split at that leftmost delimiter and you're going to press OK. And it will separate the two at the leftmost. If you did rightmost, it would have separated here at AM. But since we did leftmost, it's split it at the leftmost space. Now I will remove this. Now I want to get, now you can see this data type has become date. First it was text. Now it's date. Now I just need the year from this and this is similar to what we did in last class. So I will go to add column, go to date, click on year, and then click year. And the year will be separated. Now I will go, sorry, what happened? Where did my file go? Okay. So I will go to that order date and delete that. So I have year already. Now, the next part of this would be,
And
I
please
will
repeat the last
convert
point.
these, sorry.
Ma'am, please repeat the last point that you split the order date and year.
Okay, let me do that again. So I will go to this order date, then I will go to the add column part, go to date, and you will see this year. Okay, in this year, I will select year. That means that split will happen and it will recognize the year only. So once that year is done, you will get a separate column for year. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
No problem. Then I will remove this because I have the year already. Everything is useless. Now the next part is I will use the sales and create cost and create profit. Now let me show you something. So for your cost and profit, if you, one second, what happened here? So if you understand the logic, sales minus cost will give you profit. We have the sales. We need to find a formula for cost and we need to find a formula for profit. So let's say cost is actually 30% of our sales. So 30% of sales. So in mathematics, it will be 0.30 times your sales, right? And profit will then become sales minus cost. This is what we're going to apply on that column. So first we're going to apply this part on the column and then we're going to apply the profit part. Does that make sense? Guys, does that make sense? Yes,
Can
no?
you?
Yes.
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 Okay. So let me make, so this is my sales. I need to add column. So you remember we did in last class, add column, custom column. So here you're going to put cost. Now in custom column, like I showed you just now, it will be 30% of sales. So let me take sales and let me multiply 30%. Okay, once I'm done with that, sales times 30%. Once you click OK, you will see the cost column created. Now this cost column, I will take near sales. So I'm dragging it to near sales. Now I'm going to use these two columns and find the profit. So custom column, I'm going to put profit here. And what is profit? Sales minus cost. So sales minus cost. And then I'm going to click OK. And my profit is created. I'm going to take this to my cost. So here. Now my data is done. Okay. Based on, now I will load my data to the system. So I will go to home. I will go to close and load. Okay. Now let me change this data set. So if you look, it's called sales data set 2. I want to change the name of this data set. So let me double click this and let me change the name of this data set. So let me just put this as sales data. Okay, that's done. So I'm going to put sales data and then close and load it again. So you will see that data set is renamed. You will see how many data points are there. So there's 2,823 rows. Okay, I will rename this as sales data. So how do I rename it? Right click, rename. Okay, so I will right click here and then I will rename. Now this is my table. I need to create many reports out of this table. So one is I can create year report, I can create country report, I can create sales cost profit report, I can create how many reports I want to. So let's go here and create a pivot table. So insert, like previous class, insert pivot table, and then you will get that range, new worksheet, click OK, and you get that pivot table. Now you have to play with the data. So let me start with year report.
How you
And in this year, yes,
where I got the pivot table option. Okay.
insert, and then you will see pivot table. So when you click
Okay,
this
ma'am.
table, okay, select this entire table by clicking. Your entire table is selected. Now click on pivot table and you will get a new sheet. Okay, so this is
Okay,
my
thank
year
you.
first. Sorry,
Thank you.
no problem. Okay, now year report, that means I want my year, I want my, let's say, profit and my sales and my cost. Okay, I will put this all on different. So now you can see rows of profit, sales, and cost for each year. Now I will rename this. Let me name this as total profit, total sales, total cost. Okay. Now, whenever you show to your manager data, you need to present it well. So these things are number formats. You need to change them to currency formats. So to change these values or the number format of these values, you can right click this number and you will see value field settings. Click on the value field settings and you will see number format. Go to currency, and if you want to make these decimal places as 0, you can make it 0, and then you can click OK. You will, and then again click OK. You will have the dollar signs. So this is good for presentation. Let me try if you can do something from here. So you can do it here as well, but the problem is that it won't do together for all cells. You would have to do one by one. So rather than doing that, just click on value fields, go to number format, click on currency, remove the zeros and click OK. And then click OK again. Do the same thing for cost, value field settings, number format, currency, remove the decimal values, click OK. And then click OK. That's done. Now from here, what you're going to do is let's create a chart out of this. So to create a chart for the pivot table, make sure that you go to this pivot table analyze tab at the top. Okay, and then click on pivot chart. Now, since there are two values, it's better if you get a bar chart, a column. You can get this bar chart or you can get a column. So let me get the column. So here you can see 2003, 4 and 5. Now I will show you a better exciting part to this. So if you just want data for one particular year in your chart, you can go to this year on your right side in this fields box and right click this and you will see add as slicer. Click that. Now, once you click that, you will have the years. So when you keep changing the years, you will get data for that particular year. So 2004, it's this. 2005, it's this. So you see that values were changing over here. If you remove that filter, if this is a clear filter button, if you click this clear filter button, it will go back to the same graph that you had created. So this is the year report. Now let's say I'm going to create another report, and this was another pivot table. Let me name this as, so how did I create this? Let me remove this sheet 1 second. Now let's say I want to create another sheet from the sales data. I'm going to click here on the sales data, go to insert, go to pivot table, click OK, and it will give me the pivot table. Now here I'm going to put country report. Now in this country report, let's say I want country, I want product line, I want year, and I want profit. Okay. Now sum of year, let me bring it here. Okay, product line, maybe columns. So it is telling me how much profit we're getting in Australia for 2003, for 2004, and 2005. And this is the profit for each product that we're getting. This is the total profit. Now let's change this a bit. Now there's too much numbers here on this table. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put slicers in. So let me put slicer for product, add a slicer. Let me put a slicer for country. So 1 slicer, 2 slicer. Okay, and let me also in this data, let me also put customer name. But to make this, if you want to make the customer name better, you can include it as a slicer, but that will be too many customer names. Or you can do this, you can put it as a filter. So in your filter here, you can change the names, and accordingly that data will become sorted for that particular customer. Now, how are you going to use the slicers? If I click Canada, I will get the profit for Canada for 3 years. If I click France, I will get the profit for France for 3 years. Now, if I just want for a particular product line, I can click on France for a particular country. So let's say if I want for Australia and I want it just for trains. So it will give me the profit only for trains in Australia in the year 2003. Okay, so is this clear?
Yeah, ma'am. Can you please repeat it again? How to insert the slicers?
Okay, so the slicer, you will go to the fields, pivot tables, okay, and here you will right click and you will add a slicer. Okay, that's one way. The other way is you can go to this pivot table, analyze, and in this you will see insert slicer. So you can insert a slicer and choose for what you want to insert the slicer for. Okay, now I'm going to insert a chart. No problem. Now I'm going to insert a chart. Let me go to pivot chart. Let me put a pie chart. Click OK. So now this is there. Let me remove the countries. Now, and let me remove the product line. Now I can choose the country and it will tell me, or it will show me the chart for that particular country. Okay. In this you are seeing in 2003 and 2005 only. So if you don't want the years, you can remove the years from this chart. So let me remove this field. Okay, and you will see what is the profit for all of them. Does that make sense? Okay, if you want to include the year again, you can include the year again. And that will show you for different countries what is the profit for different years. Now, this data, when you're showing to your managers, you're not going to show this. Okay, you have to show a better presentation of that data. So what you're going to do is you're going to create a dashboard that you will use to present that data. So to create that dashboard, you need to actually first remove these cells. You need a blank page. So to change that, you will go to page layout, and in your page layout, you have grid lines, and you will see view, and that is there is a tick there. So untick this and then grid lines will go away. Now this grid lines that you have here, you're going to, now this blank document that you have here, all this that you had here, you're going to put there. So first let me put here financial analysis for ABC company, or financial analysis dashboard for ABC company. Okay, now I'm going to increase the font of this. Increase the font. Okay, and let me do merge and center, and then maybe let me make this a different color with a white color. Okay, if you want to make this more bigger, you can make it more bigger. Now bring the slicers from the different reports and put it in your dashboard. So I'm going to bring the slicer, I'm going to put it here, and I'm going to make it smaller. Then I'm going to go to country report, Control C, Control V. Okay, that's done. Now I'm going to bring the other slicers as well. So I have this slicer, country slicer. You can bring whatever you want. It's your creativity, how you want to present that data, why you want to present that data. All that is your choice. Oh, this got stuck. Oh, man. 1 second, let me bring that again. So Control V, I got that as well. And then there's another one here. So that's done. Okay, I have my slicers here. Okay, once I'm done with my slicers, then I can put other rectangular boxes to show my profit. So for example, I'm going to insert a text box. So insert text box. I'm going to click on the text box, create a text box over here. Okay, and let's say I want your total profit. Okay, and I'm going to put the number here. I'm going to copy that total profit from here, and I'm going to put this on this sheet. And then maybe let me make this a bit bigger. Okay, make it in the center. I can make this in the center too, and I can change the color to blue. Okay, so total profit here. I can make another box for cost, another box for sales, and then I can include the charts here. So let me copy paste these text box. Control C, Control V. I'm going to bring that here, and then Control C, Control V. I'm going to bring this here. So this one will be for profit, one will be for cost, one will be for sales. Now, last bit, I'm just showing you it's almost done. And this here. Okay. Now you can include anything on your dashboard. Now, this is just 2 charts. There will be several charts that you can make. You can have more slicers as well. So maybe I can have another slicer here. Include field. And where did my slicer go? Okay, let me include a slicer for, let's say, city. Okay. me say I need a slicer for city. I can include that over. Why did my dashboard here? So I will include that slicer over here. So you will have a lot of things that will come here. Now, once you keep changing this, you will see the changes. Once you keep changing this, you will see the changes. This is what you're going to present to your managers. Do you understand this? Is it clear?
Yes, miss.
This is what you will do for your descriptive report, and this will what you will do for your quiz as well. So for your quiz, you will just create a dashboard for me. Okay. For your descriptive report, you will create a dashboard. There will be some calculations, other things, descriptive statistics that we will do next week. So you will include that and you will create a write-up report. Okay. You will make a Word document. In your quiz, you will just create a dashboard. Okay, we'll talk about, I hope that is clear. I will send an email as well. Is it clear? Any questions, guys?
No, miss. Miss,
Okay.
when will we get this video, today's video, classes video?
Okay, today's class video will be there as soon as I close the session. As soon as you leave, you will have it on the Teams group.
Miss Hannah,
Okay,
the,
miss.
the last part I missed it actually. When you did the dashboard, the lines
Yeah.
were all blank. How did you do that?
So you will go for that, 1 second. You will go for that in page layout tab, and
Page
you have
layout.
grid lines, and this was ticked before. So see, now you see
Oh,
the
yes.
grid lines.
Yes, yes.
Okay, once you